Okay, as you've just seen, I finally taken the plunge and bought myself a chuck. I was actually given a unique opportunity. I received a gift card which allowed this to become a reality. There are countless videos out there saying how you do not need a chuck and you can get by making glue blocks, or in this case, utilizing the faceplate that comes with your lathe, as I did here. I made myself, I guess, a sort of jam chuck, as they'd call it, with interchangeable little inserts that I can plug in depending on what it is I might be trying to turn. Now, while that does work, there's a long process of making these blocks, these wooden chucks, if you will, that what I'm finding is if you're going to do any sort of production work, it's just not practical to do it this way. If you're doing some one-off item, then it might make sense. But in all reality, I know these videos, these experts, if you will tell you, oh, you can get by without a chuck. Even though I always kind of snicker at those videos, since when you watch them, they themselves own probably 5 or 6 different chucks at every sort of jaw attachment possible. And then yet they're telling you, oh, you don't need all that stuff. So I quickly realized that if you're going to do any sort of production work, more than one of something, you're going to need a chuck. Now the chuck is an important decision based on your lathe. So with the mini lathe, you're going to need a mini chuck, and that is why I went with the Nova Mini Chuck. Now there are others available out there. However, I also was going by the price range available. As I keep mentioning in my videos, it's the no budget approach to wood turning. I do not want to sacrifice quality in any way, shape, or form. So that is the challenge, is finding items that will do the best job for you at the lowest price possible. And that's how I went with this chuck. Pretty much every website. Rockler has it. Woodcraft has it. Sometimes they even have a special bundle sale. I think they had an anniversary sale recently. I have found the chuck routinely, even on Amazon, for about $130. The most unlikely place that I ended up finding it for less than $100 was HomeDepot.com. Not a sponsor, and not even an affiliate. So let's talk about the chuck itself. The chuck is going to come with one set of jaws and one of these screw centers, which mounts inside of the center of the chuck, and the chuck will clamp down around it. The jaws themselves are dovetailed on the outside, and they are smooth on the inside with this lip around the top edge here to help grip the wood. So fully closed, you get about 1 3/4 of an inch of clamping, and that's just my estimate based on you're going to need some sort of, you don't want metal to metal, so you do want to leave a little bit of a gap so you have good clamping pressure. The outside will support about 2 1/8. You probably want to be a little bit bigger so that you can open this a little wider, once again, giving you more of a buffer when clamping. This chuck is designed to support a 12-inch swing. So if your lathe supports up to 12 inches, then you're good to go, which is also perfect on the Harbor Freight mini lathe since it's a 10-inch swing. So you won't be maxing out your chuck. The other awesome feature of this chuck is the fact that it's already pre-threaded for 1x8. So it'll screw onto most mini lathes. One little tip I have when you put these together is these jaws themselves are numbered to correspond with the slides on the chuck itself. Each one of those is numbered, so make sure you do that, because I didn't. Now the drawback of this chuck that I've seen many people complain about on YouTube is there are other chucks that do the same style, but they use these bars for tightening. And I have quickly realized that it's not a good way to go. It's very difficult to determine how much torque you've got on your piece, and because all the holes aren't going to be exactly spaced, sometimes the bars are much further apart than you want them to be, so that becomes a bit of a challenge to get it tightened just right. Versus the T-handle type, you have multiple points that you can go around and tighten it, just like you do the chuck on a drill. So the chuck itself, it just works beautifully. I haven't any issues with it, other than, once again, the tightening that everyone else complains about, I'm complaining about too. I have had it work itself loose a little bit, but that's most likely my own fault because I didn't tighten it enough, because I'm still trying to get a feel for how tight is tight enough.